Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Joey Plays and Build, and today we're going to build a habitat right around here. Now the last habitat we built was the Maiasaura habitat. There's a video in my channel, so you guys want to check it out. But yeah, we're going to focus on here, and I'm thinking about two species of dinosaurs today, which is the Stygimoloch and the Nodosaurus. Again, we're exploring more dinosaurs that I have not even play around as much, so I feel like this is a good opportunity too. Now I did a little bit in my spare time, so I built a path here with a little bit of gardening work, and of course terrain work as well. So yeah, we're gonna focus on this area. And some people were asking what type of rocks that I'm using. So I'm gonna use the Mediterranean, the Taiga, the temperate, and I think that's about it. Those three, maybe a deserts here and there. And for the foliage, I'm gonna use the temperate, the autumn temperate, the taiga, and some of the desert foliage. So it's gonna be a variety of foliage today. So hopefully you join me into this habitat build, and let's get started. Okay, so we will start by making a lovely hiking trail right above the mountain. And that's where we're going to see the dinosaurs. We're going to place our viewing gallery right above in that section over there. Now, here's a trick. I suggest to use the smallest brush, because if you're using a big one, there's a big chance that you might ruin your terrain, your creation, your mountain creation. So if you want to smooth in some of the steeper steps, tap the button or click it with a mouse, whatever console or PC that you're playing. Tap it just a little bit, like I'm doing right there. If you want to flatten, tap it just a little bit, because if you holding it like just like that, what I'm doing right there as an example, if you're holding it, you're gonna ruin your terrain, and you're gonna try to avoid that. Another advice is using some of the walls with a huge hitbox. So if I'm placing right there, just covering, and you could raise up the terrain like I'm doing right now, and look at that, it would not bother your path work that you're doing there, because you have a wall there. And you could delete the wall if you please, if you don't want it there, or you could use water anytime that you, whatever that you're using, just to avoid ruining your terrain. And we got ourselves a lovely hiking path. For those who love hiking, I'm pretty sure this is the spot for you. Okay, so let's have some fun with the mountain. I'm gonna adapt a little bit of the grass paint anywhere as I please. Going to add some rocks, the Mediterranean rocks that I'm using the most. That the reason why is because the Mediterranean rocks, as in texture, it looks dry. I think it's best to have them far away from the water as possible. That indicates that it's dry. I don't know, I like the detail like that. And we're just gonna play around with some of the decorated foliage. Now, I said multiple times, avoid using the paint forest. I advise using the decorated forest. It still works. It's still, as in, if dinosaurs needs, it still fulfilled their needs. So we're just gonna play around with some of the temperate, the autumn temperate foliage, some of the bush, and some of the little taiga foliage right here as well, and of course the desert. So just placing some patches of forest here and there, just so that our mountain just doesn't feel empty, you know what I mean? Let's have some color in our mountain. Now, you could add as much forest as you want, or as little forest as you want. It's all up to you. You're the artist, you're the builder. So I feel like that's a good amount of foliage, not too much. Again, this is a hiking trail, and we want our guests to hike, but also have the visibility to see the dinosaurs below. Okay, so we're gonna speed up the time lapse a little bit. So how I'm gonna barricade our habitat is not fence, but rocks instead. The best rocks is the temperate number 5. It's long, it covers so much ground. perfect. Planters works as well, as you can see there. Now, I'm using the alpine rocks for the water because since the textures, well, the alpine and the Mediterranean have the same shape. The difference is that their textures. The alpine is more of a green mossy type of color. Kind of makes sense to have them right next to the water. So I put that right in the water. Attention to detail that some of the, that I focus on. Now, this is just my personal preference. You could add as much rock. You could add whatever rocks that you please. If you want the Mediterranean rocks in the water, go by all means. Go ahead, Just remember, you're the artist, you're the painter, you're the creator. So do as much as you can. And I feel like that's really good enough, right? Well, actually, we need an exit for the hiking trail. Now, of course, it is a dread to walk back to the entrance point, but maybe make it easier for our guests and have an exit. Right, exit out of the hiking. If you've ever been to a hiking before, it is getting tiresome. Not a lot of people are used to hiking in some slopey, steep, some mountains. So let's add an exit for our guests. And let's go ahead and build the habitat for the Nodosaurus and the Stygimoloch. Okay, so for this half of the video, I'm going to slow it down a little bit so I could explain what I'm doing. So first, I cover the whole terrain in sand. Just paint the whole terrain. My vision is to have a semi-arid habitat, which means that I'm not going to satisfy the dinosaurs' needs. I don't know how much ground leaf does the Stygimoloch or the Nodosaurus have, so it really doesn't matter at this point. So first, they love ground leaf, right? But instead of making into a full lush jungle, I just tap the button. Have little amount of ground leaf as possible. Again, we want to have the environment to feel semi-arid. And then we're gonna have rocks. Rocks is going to be a thing in this habitat. The best rocks that I'm using is the Taiga rock number 3. It has very smooth, and then around it using the small rocks like Taiga rock number 1 and number 2. Okay, so we're gonna slow it down a bit because we're working on foliage. The two main foliage that I use in this build is the desert and the Mediterranean. You could use as much foliage as you want here because the foliage can satisfy the dinosaur's needs. I mean the decorative foliage, not the paint foliage, the decorative. So I'm playing around with some of the Mediterranean trees and the desert. I try to avoid using the bigger Mediterranean trees just because, again, I want to feel like a semi-arid place. And also, I don't know if this is accurate, but I picture someone like a Nodosaurus or a Stygimoloch to hide in rocks, barrels, or whatever. So that could be their little shade. I don't know. For some reason, I picture a Nodosaurus to be like a warthog. That's probably out of context of what the actual dinosaur is. I don't think that's accurate, but that's how I felt. So yeah, rocks is going to be a big part of it. Small foliage here and there. Maybe I add one big Mediterranean tree just for a little bit of shade, but other than that, the whole build is just desert and Mediterranean. Maybe I did use some of the temperate and the Taiga bushes just because they have one of the best bushes, except for the Taiga medium tree. This doesn't feel right, so I took that out. But anyways, this is the whole habitat build. Hopefully this inspired you, or hopefully my videos does inspire you guys to go ahead and build your own unique type of biome, type of habitat. The marine species pack is coming up and we only have 2 more days left. So I'm really excited what to build. I'm gonna build all of the marine fishes species. So I'm gonna do a poll on what you guys want to see first. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are excited. This is the end of the video. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to see more if you want to see more of these unique type of builds. We're gonna do a lot of these type of builds, so please do keep in touch, stay notified, all of that good stuff. But this is it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next build.